Are there two Hulks?
I don't know which end it grows from, but I'm sure a comic has, let us know which end if the head, he probably just pops the head back on, or he grows the new body to the head, or maybe a new head to the body. I don't know which, but one of those happens.
Well, then learn something new every day about the superhero world.
Yeah, I know you're very invested in it. You hate it. So. You hate it the way like a 65-year-old Christian mother hates like Dungeons and Dragons. You're like so opposed to it. You're like, superheroes, eh? Yeah, I know all about them.
I know all about the superheroes. It's a bunch of gay nonsense. Don't need it. Yeah, it's more just that if it wasn't around every corner for the past decade and a half, no, 2 decades at this point, it wouldn't be that. And also, I don't. It's just not for me. It's just not. It's not the genre I'm interested in.
I think that Woody and I are just as like done with it as you are. It's just that we appreciate the little gems that they make maybe once a year, like the Guardians of the Galaxies, or I really thought the second Suicide Squad movie, the one that had John Cena in it, and Idris Elba, was tremendous. Like that was a really good movie, and I like the TV show. Yeah, his TV show. What's it called?
Peacemaker.
Yeah, Peacemaker. Very good. Season 2's coming. Finally, it's been like 3 or 4 years or something. But finally, they're making season 2. That shit's funny. Like that's genuinely good comedy, and it doesn't. It's. I mean, there's superhero shit going on, but he's like the Donald Trump of superheroes. Like there's a scene where he like gets out of prison and goes back to his trailer, and he's just penniless and friendless, and he's laying in bed sobbing. Like suddenly the mask of douchebaggery drops, and he just sobs into his hands like a child. And then his like stupid sidekick catches him. Are you crying? He's like, no, I'm doing special face exercises. So my fucking face is nice and jacked like this, not some pussy femboy look like you've got. Maybe if you did and it like later on, the sidekick's like, hey, would you teach me those super cool facial exercises you were doing earlier? And he's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, you're going to want to openly weep 3x5, 5 days a week.
When we first get introduced to the Peacemaker character, I didn't know him through the movies and such. He's a little bit hurt, so they give him an x-ray. And he's looking at the x-ray, and he's like, can you take a new x-ray? It looks like I just focus on my major muscle groups, and I really work the supporting muscle groups, too.
You turn up the contrast or something? Like. Yeah, he's that's a good show. I look forward to more of that. And I think The Boys has gotten worse every season. And it's to the point now where if this is how the first season was, I'd be like, it's another one of those shows.
I think that Jensen Ackles, is that his name? His character, Soldier Boy, made that season pretty good too.
It was on his back. It was on his back, and I agree with you. He's really good. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed his character. He was a new fucking thing, and I kind of like the fish out of water, man out of time aspect of it, of him being weirded out by race relations and gays and everything. And yet
his superpower was like de-supering the other people. He'd unsoup guys. And it's like, oh, shucks, he might make some real noise around here if he can take away people's superpowers.
I'm sure they bring him back either at the end of this or, maybe next season.
Aren't they bringing back the other supernatural guy and they're going to be on together?
I thought so, because they already had, and Negan, he's also in Supernatural. He's their father in the show. So all three of them would be, have sort of been in the show. I don't know. That one's letting me down lately. I don't think much of The Boys. I'm going to keep watching it, and I'm not yet hate watching it the way I was hate watching From toward the end, where I was genuinely watching it going, fuck you, that's stupid. Oh, a new plot twist. Oh, now there's great. Fuck. I can still watch The Boys and just kind of snort every now and then when, I don't know, they do something that's just not my cup of tea, I guess. Like I don't know. I can take it. I think when they killed off Martin Freeman's character or whatever his name is, Stewie's dad. Felt like a plot line that, why did we even have this whole thread? Why was any of this like, it just happened. It doesn't really advance the story at all. It's just another trauma for Stewie, I suppose. And what the introduction is just a way of Yeah, is it Huey? I'm saying Stewie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still a stupid fucking name.
Yeah. Oh, and you might have. His father was supposed to be cast in that role. If you
No,
look
I
at the
didn't know.
cartoon, it looks exactly like the character that plays his father, and it was like this. It just took so long to make the boys that the guy aged out of the role.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? It's Simon Pegg.
I'm glad you knew. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
Simon Pegg.
From Shaun of the Dead.
We waited on you to go back to superhero talk. We
knew you wouldn't miss it. We were talking hockey while you were gone.
Oh, thank you.
Vorvich, let's go.
Tell me all about the Wasp.
Oh, I hate the Wasp. So the Wasp, it's a hot character, but she's like the Ant-Man's like sidekick.
Formerly hot.
Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie. I watched it on an airplane one time.
What was the biggest twist? Wherever you were like, what was the time watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe the most where you're like, oh my God, are these superheroes gonna pull it out over the bad guy?
I mean, they lost in the second to last movie. They lost the first Avengers movie. They lost.
Everybody last movie, like half the characters died or got like ruined.
Yeah,
like Iron Man dies.
Burnt alive.
Steve.
Good.
Captain America turns like 100 years old.
Yeah.
Who else? Scarlet Witch.
No. Scarlett Johansson, who plays Black Widow.
Black Widow. Thank you. That's what I'm going for. Black Widow dies.
Scarlet Witch's brother died. Yeah, a lot of people fucking died.
People as important as Scarlet Witch's brother?
Christopher
Witch. He was a CPA.
I don't think you're right, but you are funny.
First of all,
that's really what matters.
He would have been very helpful in the fight against Thanos. Okay, so Taylor. So is what you know. Okay, you'd have been gone in the snap. You wouldn't even. You'd have just woke up and been all lazy. Like, what's the problem? It fell apart. I don't watch superhero movies. I don't care about that stuff.
He doesn't know who died, but we did briefly mention it was Scarlet Witch's brother.
Scarlet Witch's brother. A whole bunch of the
Vision died. Vision died. Yes, Vision was the main character.
He was important.
Now what's Vision up to? What's his power?
He's not up to anything. He's dead.
He's dead.
He had one of the Infinity Stones in his forehead, and he was very powerful.
Oh, I've seen the gif of him where Thanos is like, "You are my bitch," and steals it. I like that.
About right.
Yeah. Seems like Thanos is on to something other than, I've just gone over this up and down, side to side. Thanos could have just doubled the amount of planets and
he was unnecessarily cruel. That's true.
Could have done anything.
We're not doing this again. We have to pull the plug on this now.
No, this is my version of the Eagles flying to Mordor.
So would you
I'm just saying you're bigoted against the superhero genre. It's not a genre.
I am a superhero racist.
And that means you miss out on a few hidden gems that the rest of us get to enjoy, and it's upsetting because you get left behind in our pop culture conversations the same way you haven't seen Terminator fucking 2. Oh God, I watched the director's commentary the other day without the video on. Like I can't. I love it so much. I love it so much. You won't watch
priority list.
Yes.
Something. You'll get
fucking dentist haircut. Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 is good. You saw Terminator 1.
No. I watched the first 10 minutes of it, and then I got tired that night and I went to bed and I didn't pick it back up. This was almost 2 years ago.
You're not even a good person.
Clearly not.
Wild, man. That's wild.
We had that idea for a movie podcast where every week you watch a movie and every week I don't get around to it.
I come in really up. I'm like, Taylor, did you see Long Legs? It was crazy. I'm sure you saw it. That was the movie we picked this week. What did you think of Nicolas Cage's performance? You're like, man, some stuff came up. What was it about?
Not even. He should fake it.
Yes. I'd have to lie about it until you catch me. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't even think spiders are that big a deal. And you're like, Long Legs isn't about spiders, Taylor. And I'm like, that's up to interpretation, really.
Oh, you're saying the subtext.
The subtext. Yeah.
Yeah, that is there. The webs, okay, and the way people are interconnected. Taylor, you really saw a lot in this film that just got
A
past me.
huge amount. That scene where Nicolas Cage looked confused and he went, "Oh, what? What are we doing here?" Like, remember? Like, do you remember that part? And then
I do recall that part. Yes, that was key. That was integral.
yeah.
I kind of like this idea where I watch the movie intently and come in passionately, and you pretend like you have. Actually, it would almost be funnier if like the audience didn't know which of us had actually seen the movie.
And it's always you. All right, this week's vote is who saw the movie. I win every week.
I would just be so angry. This sounds like a lot of work for me and none for you.
Yeah, I just sit on the call for an hour and I'm like, that sounds fucking gay.
You got to see Terminator 2. It's very good. Very good. It's Arnold's best movie, maybe. It might be Arnold's best movie.
What was the one where he ran around the city trying to? That's also excellent.
Kindergarten Cop.
What was? Yeah, Kindergarten Cop is great. I remember I saw it as a kid.
That abusive dad. What?
Well, it's not his best movie. He like roughs up an old man in a parking lot, and then he jacks around and teaches kids coloring and shit for 2 hours.
What's the one where he's running around trying to be like, oh, where can I find the Mega Man action figure for my son?
Oh yeah, that's Jingle All the Way.
I liked that as a kid.
That's garbage.
Okay, well I was like 9.
What's the one where he like they sort of break the fourth wall about him being an
action hero.
Yeah, that one was pretty fun.
It was the downfall of his career.
Really?
Yes.
You said a downfall? He's still big. Well, I mean, he would be if he wasn't.
I don't think this is the sort of thing that you follow. like he had that was the downfall of his career. It was all downhill from there. It never that his peak was just before that. That was his first bomb of a bomb. And everything was like a step down after that. After that, you get movies like Eraser, movies like The Sixth Day, these lower budget, crappier, not poorly written, nothing but callbacks to the good part of his career. Lots of I'll be backs and like, lots of callbacks to like characters that have nothing to do with what he's doing in those movies. And it's been downhill ever since. Every now and then, obviously, he comes back and does another Terminator or whatever. But he's made some little movies like Maggie, and he's done some like smaller pictures. But his career never recovered from Last Action Hero.
Is that why he had to be a governor?
I was trying to prove Kyle wrong by looking up The Last Action Hero because I think I have a fond memory for it because I was just like the perfect demo for that. It's like probably a 13-year-old boy or something when it dropped. And I'm like, accolades. Oh, this film was nominated for 6 Golden Raspberry Awards.
Yeah.
Worst picture, worst actor, worst director, worst screenplay, worst new star, and worst original song. All right.
Wow, it swept the Raz.
It didn't even win any raspberries, which somehow feels worse.
Wait, it didn't even win. It was just nominated.
Right.
Yeah, True Lies.
I got to take my L.
True Lies was a few years before that, I think. Like, if I'm just guessing, but like maybe around 92. I think Last Action Hero was like 94, maybe. 95, somewhere in there. But True Lies is very good. That's his like top tier. James Cameron made the movie. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis just being a badass, being funny, being sexy, and Tom Arnold being actually good comedic relief, and a fun story where at the end Arnold commandeers a Harrier jet, flies it to the city, and then beats up a terrorist on the wing. Then the terrorist ends up falling and getting like his belt loop stuck around one of the missiles. So Arnold says, "You're fired." And he launches him just into a skyscraper in the city.
To an innocent building of people?
It looked like maybe it was under construction or something like that. But no. Here's what he did. I remember it perfectly now. God, this is great. He launches it. It goes through the skyscraper that's under construction. And it hits all the other terrorists who are in a helicopter on the other side. They see their boss flying at them, tied to a missile, and they're all like, "Ah!" And then they all explode together. I remember now.
Strong belt.
That's a good fucking movie. True Lies. There's a part. Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to help him because she's only now found out her husband is like James Bond, essentially, with a looking bench 350, and she's drops the machine gun. She's coming to help him fight all these guys, and she drops the machine gun, and it's just falling down the stairs, going off on its own, but it's killing all the bad guys. So it's a fun little movie. It's good.
Yeah, that's on the list. Yeah.
That rubs me raw.
It kills me that Taylor won't watch these good movies, but he liked Mandy.
Mandy was a good movie.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
By the way, this Longlegs movie is a horror film that's in theaters right now, and I haven't watched the trailer. I feel like it's going to spoil too much, but I think it's a monster movie, and they have Nicolas Cage somehow playing the monster in like a costume and a lot of makeup or something, and supposedly it's very scary. I'm really looking forward to watching it when it's available.
Once again, my dumbass Googled Mandy in an effort to prove Kyle wrong. Rotten Tomatoes is like 93%. Metacritic is like 80-something%. The world agrees with you guys.
Yeah, I liked Mandy. It was good.
I think you got to be in the right. It's like your drugs. You know, you got to be.
I was pretty
setting
high.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking with True Lies too. I was like, I wonder if this movie's as good as Kyle remembers it, or if Kyle was just the perfect demo when he saw it.
Oh, it could be a little bit of both. I also have just a ton of nostalgia and like guilty pleasure kind of thing for Arnold, where I know he's not a good actor. He's sort of doing his shtick though, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate like his physicality in those roles, and I like the little gags. There's one at the very beginning of Commando. He's out cutting a tree down for no good reason. I think he's going to chop it into firewood. But he cuts down a mammoth tree with a chainsaw, and then he carries it on his shoulder back to his house. And it looks like it weighs, obviously it's a fake tree, but it would weigh 1,000 pounds. And he's got it nonchalantly on one shoulder. This tree is so big. It's like the kind of tree that you can barely hug around. And he's like got it on his shoulder, walking around with it. And like, it's one of those movies where there's a part where the guy's like, what, you could smell them? I did. Like he smelled the bad guys coming and ducked, so the machine gun fire didn't hit him. That's a ridiculous move. That's like the best schlocky action thing he's ever done, because the premise is they kidnap his daughter and they want him to go assassinate the president of Venezuela or something. And he's like, fuck you. And he just starts killing all of them, and they're on an island full of terrorists. So he just invades, and first he goes to like a gun and ammo store and robs them blind, and then it's that gif you've seen of Arnold putting the knife in the sheath, clipping the grenades on, putting the fucking black face paint on. That's Commando. He's about to go kill like 200 people.
Is it completely impossible that he carried this log, or maybe that the log
completely impossible? It's fake log.
I need to see how big the log is. I'm watching it now. It's still a close up of his face.
Okay.
He has big arms. Oh, yeah, no way.
Okay.
Yeah, I know for a fact.
Wood is so fucking heavy.
Yeah, especially like freshly sawn down, full of water and sap wood, not dried out. No, I love Arnold. I like those movies. To me, the other action stars of the 80s pale in comparison. You've got Stallone there, but I feel like the movies that Stallone made that were in the same style as Arnold's weren't nearly as good. Like there was Rambo, and then I think everything else was like second fiddle. I did like the Rambo movies.
Rocky.
Rocky's like a sports movie. He's not like a tough guy. Like I think of the machine gun. He needs a machine gun, or you're not in the genre. If you ask me, like, you know, like you need a machine gun, or you're not in the genre.
I don't know. You're forgetting a lot of scenes from Rocky that he's really tough.
If you've seen, have you seen this movie, Taylor? It's Rambo 2008. It's the Rambo.
No, I haven't.
Fuck you.
You believe it? I didn't believe that. I didn't fall for it. Dude.
No, ask me again.
Rambo 2008 is so fucking good. I watched it this week. This is obviously it was made in the year 2008. It's not part of the title. It's just how I'm distinguishing it, because the name of the movie is Rambo. And it's old Rambo living like on the border of Myanmar, and he's like a cobra wrangler. He's just stayed over in Vietnam since the last movie, and he's gotten old, and he drives like a riverboat. And these missionaries hire him to take them into Myanmar where there's a war, and the bad guy is a warlord with like an army, and he's a pedophile. He's like having sex. He's like a boy fucking warlord pedophile like Asian man, and Rambo and this team of like commandos that the church hires to go get their people back out after they get kidnapped by the warlord eventually go in and like fight this Cambodian army of rapists. It's a lot of rape.
Our whole army of Cambodia.
They have like women and children in cages. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and Rambo. There's a part where Rambo cuts a man's head off with his machete, and then assumes that guy's position on a mounted 50 caliber machine gun, and it's behind the enemy. lines.
Ji-Ping, yesterday you were 5'2" Cambodian, and today you're 6'5" Austrian.
He does it quickly. He like chops the head, and then he jumps on the gun and like click click, and he pans it down and shoots the driver, and the driver turns to jelly. And then he starts raking it across all the whole army. And every time he hits one of them, it's really exaggerated. So they just get blown in half, or their heads just completely explode. It's a good time. It's a fun movie.
It sounds fun.
You could go watch some Age of Empires tutorials or something like that from like 2012, though. That'd probably be more educational and shit.
No, you wouldn't want to watch 2012. You'd want to watch
old meta,
ones.
huh?
Yeah.
You don't watch the classics anymore just for the
those builds
the love of the game.
No,
you'll never know what hit them, Taylor. You could break out the old school rules. Be like some boomer in a movie.
No, doing that would be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Steve Willoughby swing his bat in 1907, and I'm gonna mimic that in the major leagues. Like you'd get smoked.
Willoughby had great mechanics. You're a
God, what was that movie where the only warship working needed to be manned by this geriatric Pacific or something?
Oh, that's a movie called
Battleship, yeah. See, Taylor, you can pull a battleship on them, and they won't be expecting your 1947 Age of Empire tactics.
I'll try it. I'll get rolled. Probably.